Hi, I'm Aaron Stash. Welcome to the Electric Home Show. I'd like to share this presentation I gave at the Northbrook Public Library. Thanks to the library, the Village of Northbrook, and Go Green Northbrook for sponsoring this segment on electrifying your home. Take a look. I'm Aaron Stash. Welcome to the Electric Home Show. Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Stash. I do live in Northbrook. My family, who's all here in the back, and I moved in 2014. We built our house, which is almost all electric, but it is one of the first LEED certified homes in Northbrook. Northbrook has very forward-looking sustainability policies. Thanks again to Kate and for the library and to Go Green for hosting this today. I think this is excellent opportunity for everybody to hear and for us to share about what we're doing. We moved in about 12 years ago, and 12 years ago we were cutting edge. What I didn't realize is that we're still cutting edge 12 years from then. So while we built a new house, and we're not really talking about building new homes, we're still modifying this house and learning from our homes, from when we first moved in. So I'll try not to repeat everything that Wayne said, but a lot of it's going to kind of follow that same path. So why did we build this house? Many of you know living in Northbrook isn't cheap, right? So one of the big things we wanted to do is we're going to build this home to make sure that it lasts a lifetime and make sure that it's easy for us to maintain, i.e. less expensive for us to maintain. So we're going to use stronger building products that last longer. But as Wayne said, we also want to have a healthier environment. I have every allergy known to man, I think, from a seasonal perspective. My daughter as well. I went to the allergist once and she told me I was born on the wrong planet. I said, that doesn't really help me. What can I do? And so we have a really high quality, energy efficient, and healthy breathing atmosphere for our house. We'll talk about kind of the ERVs and the CERV that we have, as well as we want it to be energy efficient, right? As Wayne said, energy prices fluctuate. Whether we're paying for gas or electricity, whatever it is, we're all paying for something. And so how can we help improve or reduce the amount of energy that we're using, whatever that energy is? And then how can it be representative of us? So we're really excited. I think when our kids were little, and they're not little anymore, but they wanted a rainbow house. So we did not paint the outside of the house in a rainbow, but we do have every color inside in all of the rooms in the rainbow. So that's exciting for us. All right. So Wayne touched on this kind of overall his presentation, but I want to touch on an energy efficiency pyramid. So what Wayne was saying before, again, is that solar is at the very top. Now, I will say that we did not do solar at the very top. We did not do this in order, and you'll see kind of the order that we did. But understanding is really at the bottom, and that's where we are today, right? How can we understand more about what makes our homes energy efficient? We lived in a house before the house we built, and I had no idea, what our kind of energy efficiency rating was or how much insulation we had. I knew when we moved in that, well, we needed to get a new furnace. Let's get a nicer one that's more efficient. Great. I have no idea what air we were breathing or anything like that. Ignorance is bliss, maybe, or maybe it was making us sick. We will never know. We know now in the house that we're in, and kind of this understanding of listening today and asking questions later, it's get us all started. So this is really the order we want to go in from the bottom down. So passive solar design, again, not something you're probably going to put into your, I'll go on this side for those folks. If you already have a house, you're probably not going to reorient it and make it passive solar. But what is passive solar? Essentially, here in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun is going to shine to our south. And every time in the winter time right now, the sun is going to come in at a lower angle. It's going to help heat our home. So that was just a matter of, well, how do we build this house? Where do we put the windows? Luckily, we had a southern exposure for our backyard. And then in the summertime, when the sun is higher in the sky, we have eaves and different things to block the sun from coming into our house. So that's just being aware, right? The only things we used here were sunlight and geometry. Monitoring systems, so another level of awareness, right? How much energy are you using in different parts of your house? So we have a system here called an Emporia View, and it is tied to specific circuits within our house. So I can tell you for 16 of the circuits in my house, how much energy is produced in those areas, or is used, I'm sorry, not produced, how much energy is used. I will say, spoiler alert, it is the electric vehicles. It is the HVAC system, which is electric. It will be an electric water heater. It's a refrigerator, and our computers and electronics. It's amazing how much power a PlayStation 5 uses. Air quality monitoring. Again, what's in the air that we're breathing, right? So is anybody monitoring their air quality today? All right, there are some there are some devices out there that will tell you what is the CO2 level in your house. What are the VOCs, the volatile organic compounds in your house? What is the particulate matter in your home? What are you breathing on a regular basis that you probably just aren't aware of? So, we have these devices. They're actually being built into smoke alarms now. So Kidde, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or your local hardware store, Kidde has a smoke alarm that has an indoor air quality sensor inside of it. And that sensor will tell you, not only will it monitor for smoke and carbon monoxide, but it'll tell you the VOC level, it'll tell you the humidity level, and it'll tell you the temperature, all from your smoke alarm. And that's pretty cool. All right, so LED lighting, pretty basic stuff. I think we've all gone LEDs. I don't know that we can buy a bulb right now that's not LED unless we're looking for a giant halogen for something. Air sealing and insulation, Wayne talked a lot about this. So we have every form of insulation possible. We do use some of that closed cell foam in certain spots of our house, but most of it is dense packed cellulose. We also have that rigid foam, the Pink Panther foam on the outside of the house, as well as underneath the slabs of the foundation. And again, it's like, if it's cold outside, what do you tell your kids? You say, put a coat on, put a sweater on, put a hat on, right? We're not saying put solar panels on your head to make you warm. Induction cooking, Wayne talked about that as well. This was something that we came to. We didn't start with induction cooking. And again, I think to Wayne's point, it's a very emotional experience, right? You're cooking, and what is this like? I will say, if you're trying to convince someone to move to induction cooking, you can buy on Amazon a single induction burner for about $100, maybe $75, depending on the sale. And you can convince them to do it because it works really well. Just make sure that they don't set it on fire with your gas stove, because if you set it a little too close, things might happen. We are the almost all-electric home. We are waiting for our new heat pump dryer. We just got breaking news before this meeting. We just heard that our dryer is finally on its way. What I'll say here is that we have these giant 16-year-old LG, I'll call them American-sized washer dryers. Most of the condensing heat pump dryers on the market that if you go to, again, Lowe's, Home Depot, Apt, they're gonna look like this. And this is from Miele or Bosch, and I'll call them the European size. They're so cute and so quaint. But we have now an American-sized heat pump dryer. So you can get these from LG, from Samsung, from Whirlpool. I believe there's a number of other manufacturers out there, but they are the giant kind of 7.2 cubic feet American dryer. So it'll match your other stuff. On-demand water heater, again, right now we have a gas water heater. So when we first moved in, this was all the rage, right? It's 98% efficient and it works wonderfully. It creates a giant icicle outside of my house every winter because of the emissions that continue to come out of the house. But it's wonders what a 9-iron will do to a giant icicle to make sure that you don't poison yourself from the carbon monoxide this could be creating in your home, which will hopefully automatically turn off. So we're going to replace it with a heat pump hot water heater. So again, similar to what Wayne has, this system again is by LG. This is not an LG commercial, but we just happen to have both an LG water heater and an LG dryer on order. But again, 300% more efficient to heat your water, and I don't have to exhaust it in any way. We do have heat pumps. Yeah, heat pumps are amazing, right? I'm repeating what Wayne was saying, but a heat pump is an air conditioner that runs in reverse. You wouldn't buy a car that only runs in one direction. So why do you buy an air conditioner that only runs in one direction when you can get a heat pump that both heats and cools, right? It's just like a refrigerator. Your refrigerator is a heat pump. Your air conditioner is a heat pump. All of these things are using energy, using electricity to create more heat than they take in from an electricity perspective. More on that, look up thermodynamics. Energy recovery ventilator. So our system is a little different. We have model number 6, developed by Bill Equinox, a professor and his son from the University of Illinois, go Illini, developed the SERV, Conditioned Energy Recovery Ventilator. And we have the first one in Illinois installed outside of the owner and founder's home. Again, it was model number 6. And so what this does, in addition to bringing in fresh air and taking stale air out, it actually has a volatile organic compound and CO2 monitor inside of it. So it's a smart ERV system. It knows that if we have a party and a bunch of people over and CO2 levels rise in our house, that we should probably ventilate more, and it'll kick it into high gear. And the same, it knows that when the CO2 levels are okay, that it should just go into recirculation mode. And instead, it's just kind of drafting air around our house and moving that air around the house without actually kicking anything outside, because it's just tempering that air to make it super comfortable. The great thing about ERVs in general, if you've never been in a home with the ERV, is coming back from a vacation, because your house has new house smell, because your ERV system has been running this whole time. So every time we come back from even a weekend and we walk into the house, it's like, wow, this is amazing. It smells like we just moved in. And if you have a 13-year-old who plays football and all kinds of sports, it can also move those smells out faster. Energy efficient windows. Again, Wayne talked about this too. This is kind of that rigid foam as well on the outside of the house. Most of our windows are double pane on the south side of the house because we do want energy to come in during the winter time. Our north window is a triple pane giant picture window, and when it was installed, they said it was the heaviest window they'd ever put in. And solar. So we do have 39 solar panels on our roof. It's a little over 10 kilowatt solar array. We did put this in 2019, and at the time in 2019, before we had our second electric car, we didn't pay anything for power in the summertime. In fact, ComEd paid us for the amount of energy that we generated. And then in about October, early November, we would then start paying for power again. So again, back to the energy efficiency pyramid, we followed it all the way. Well, what did we do? Well, we didn't really follow it in order. Right now we are electrifying, so we're finishing up with appliances and water heating. We did solar a little earlier in there. And most people that I talk to, when we talk about energy efficiency of their homes, are like, well, we got to change our windows out. Let's do our windows. Yes, but that's really pretty high on the list. Or, hey, solar's great. Solar's really sexy. Look at all the incentives for solar. Also, your pyramid's going to tip over here. So think about these other things first before you're going to go that way. Or, hey, if you're like me and you've already done it, now you know where to go. All right, what did all this cost? Maybe this is a slide everybody wants to see. So a couple different options of what we can do from a dryer. So what we need to do to electrify our home, we need to do electrical upgrades, which I'll talk about a little bit, our clothes dryer, and our water heater. So electrical upgrades. We have a gas water heater, which only plugs into the wall outlet, basically, to turn that on and run the pilot light as necessary. So we had to run a 30 amp circuit for that water heater, which thankfully is in our mechanical room. So that's going to be a pretty easy change. However, our dryer, even though we built the house, only had a gas hookup because we had a gas dryer at the time. Why would we ask them to put an electric plug there? So we had to run another 30 amp electric circuit to that clothes dryer, which is on the second floor. That cost us about $700 just to run that 30 amp circuit 2 floors up. So your prices will vary. I hope you get a better deal than we did, but we were very happy with who we worked with. Electric dryers and heat pumps, there's different options out there. Take a look. And then water heaters really depend on kind of what you have. If you have an electric water heater today, you can very easily go to a heat pump water heater. It's the same, it's not really plugged in, but I'll say it's the same plug. It's the same 30 amp circuit that powers your heat pump water heater that would power your electric water heater. And then incentives. I know Sophia's going to talk about this a little more, but doing some of this math, this is going to cost me about $5,500, which includes my circuits, my heat pump dryer, and my water heater that I'm going to put in, plus plumbing parts and labor. ComEd is going to give me $5,000 to electrify my house. So I'm paying $5,400. ComEd's going to give me $5,000. The federal government, hopefully, will give me another 30% on top of that just for the water heater. So they're not incentivizing clothes dryers or my electrical upgrades right now, but they'll give me another 30% for my heat pump. So at the end of the day, minus plumbing parts and labor, I'm going to pay negative $1,500 to do this upgrade to our house. Now again, most of our house is already done. We already did the hard part. We already did the insulation and the air sealing and the HVAC system. So these are some of those easier things. This should not be used as a substitute for consultation with professional tax, accounting, legal, or other competent advisors. So take photos at your own risk. All right, I'm trying to go really fast because I know we've got a lot of stuff going on. This is what we pay in gas today. I put this orange piece up here because we pay $20 a month just to have gas. Aren't we lucky to have gas coming to our house for $20 a month? Isn't that great? Actually, as I look at this, we probably pay more per year for the fact that we have a gas line than for the actual gas that we use. We've never had a gas bill over $42. Has anybody else ever had a gas bill that's only $42? Right, okay, there we go. Bernadette's got a heat pump. All right, so once we get rid of gas, we won't be paying the $20 a month either. So that's $240 a year that we're gonna save. However, we do pay more for electricity, right? So we talk about energy efficiency. Our house is 12 years old. I know Wayne's got some more cutting edge stuff that was built, last week. But our house is 12 years old. So we use more electricity in the wintertime because we're using electricity for heating, all right? So this curve also lines up pretty well with our solar usage, right? So in the summer, we make more solar energy because of where the sun is and the days are longer. So this number is gonna go down because it includes some of that net metering. But let's look at the numbers again. How much does this all cost us, okay? So in January, and I normalized this because the electricity bill, I think, was more than 30 days and the gas bill was 30 days. But anyway, in January, we spent $430 on electricity, right? That's pretty high. That's probably our highest bill every year is in January, February time period because we like to get polar vortexes all the time, which is great. But we only spent $42 on gas. $20 was just to have the gas line and probably $6 was taxes. In the summertime, in July, we spent $15 on electricity, but we still spent $32 on gas because again, $26 was the ability to have gas and the taxes. But what does this look like? Okay, so again, if I can measure it, I can manage it. So I'm measuring my electrical use with my Emporia. These are the biggest circuits that I have. And so from that $430 in January, $64 was charging my electric vehicles. I have 2 electric vehicles. $64 is about 1 tank of gas. I charge 2 cars for an entire month on 1 tank of gas. And then my HVAC system makes up, the EV is 15%, the HVAC system is what, 64%? I can't do the math, 66%, no, 56%, sorry, to make up 71% total. So just heating my house was $240. $240 gas bill to heat your house in January. That's probably what you guys paid, maybe. I don't know how big your houses are, but that's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So again, when we look at these high electricity costs, the reason I bring it up is because, yeah, your electricity costs are going up, but they also include a lot more things that you didn't pay for in electricity before. So your gas bills are going down or being eliminated entirely. Going to the pump is being eliminated entirely, but you're going to pay for it here in your electricity. And then this is kind of the ComEd comparison of, this is our blue line. So in the summertime, we use way less power than the light blue, which is our efficient neighbors, and then the gray here, which is all neighbors. But in the wintertime, polar vortex period, we are using more power. Again, we were cutting edge about 12 years ago. We're still cutting edge, and because of that, I started a company. And if you want to learn more, you can check out my YouTube channel at Electric Home Show on YouTube, where I cover some of my own homes. I was in Oak Park about a week ago where I covered a 107-year-old all-electric retrofit, so it can be done. Thanks to the Northbrook Public Library and Go Green Northbrook, and everyone who attended Electrify Your Home. Sláinte! I'm Aaron Stash. Thanks for watching the Electric Home Show. Like and subscribe for more. If you're a homeowner interested in a healthy, energy-efficient electric home, reach out to us at electrichomecompany.com to schedule your free virtual coffee today. Thanks for watching.